Hey guys, Civilord here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Skeleton Warriors Baron Dark by the fine folks over at October Toys. A lone tier for the fine folks over at October Toys because they have since been debunked for a number of years now. That said, this is also brought to us by my good buddy Evil Villain, and this is, I think, one of the first figures I picked up off of him way back when we first started talking. So, as usual, I'll leave a link in the description below to his Instagram. Head on over there, give him a follow, let him know Overlord sent you. But as always, don't be a Yarkafasa, or he'll tell you what's up, and then I'll tell you what's up, and you won't like the consequences, I assure you. That said, what can I say about this figure that isn't going to break my heart into a million teeny tiny pieces, other than we could have had so much from this line if October Toys did this Kickstarter like in the past like 3 years? Yeah, they did this back when Kickstarter action figure things were relatively new. I'm gonna say that it wasn't until the Kickstarter Spawn, is it, that we really saw a humongous boom in action figure Kickstarters. It was Spawn, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, Savage Crucible, Mythic Legions even. That's really when we started to see action figures take off on Kickstarter. This guy came out before all of that, maybe around the same time as first Mythic Legions Kickstarter, and he did well, but then when they went to do Grimskull, I guess it was around Christmas time, and that didn't go over so well. Like a fart in church will say. Which kind of sucks, because nowadays we got like $500 Mythic Legions waves that sell ridiculously well, that go up right before Thanksgiving and right after New Year's. So I'm not quite sure how that works at all. I know Skeleton Warriors is a bit of a niche property, but it's got a big enough following that, I don't know, something like that should have sold, especially at like 20-30 bucks. Like, that ain't squat nowadays. I understand figures were cheaper back then, but I guess people were also cheaper skates back then. So yeah, I'm a little perplexed as to why this line didn't have a few more characters in it, but hey, at least we got Baron Dark and good old George Gaspar, who, funny enough, works for the fine folks over at Four Horsemen Studios nowadays, is still putting out the Titan Skeleton, which is basically a lot of reuse from this guy with more generic, skeleton parts like the rib cage, the lower legs, the head, of course, no cape, no sword, no nothing. But he's been doing it in a lot of crazy colors. I'd like to see them bring back some more traditional skeleton colors, like maybe a white or a tan, maybe a black one. That'd be pretty sick. Even like a crazy glow-in-the-dark green one. That'd be pretty cool too. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, like we already have, why don't we cut right to the chase and take a look at all the accessories good old Baron Dark has to offer, and it is just a sword. Because Baron Dark is a Glyos compatible figure, I say that in air quotes, because he's not like the other Glyos figures I have, also from my good buddy Evil Villain. But he does come with a sword, very nice sword. I would have liked his gun or his axe or whatever, but he comes with the sword, and that was his weapon of choice, I believe. But taking a closer look at him, if we pop his noggin off, just a ball joint. You could count his cape as an accessory, I guess. But head back on. Very cartoon accurate, this figure. Unlike the vintage one that had the crazy chrome eyes and it's just humongous. Here's the look at the cape. It's a hard plastic cape, just kind of sits on him. But it's not whatever. It's a nice cape. Gets the job done. But very cartoon accurate, this figure. You can tell because of the eyes. He's got the red eyes with the black around them. He's got the skull on his head with his hair. He's got this screaming Mimi skull on his torso. And then he's got his little loincloths, his little furry boots with his spiky toe thingies. I think he's wearing sandals. And these spiked bracers, are these separate pieces? I don't think, yes they are, so you could slide these off. So basically, again, the lower legs, the feet actually, the torso, and the head are different on the Titan skeleton, obviously. It's just a generic skeleton, which I wish I had a couple of those, but whatever. And the Vitruvian Hex one, come to think of it, because they're a pretty decent scale with this guy too. But as far as articulation goes, his head is on a ball joint. You get a lot of range out of that ball joint, might I add. All you naysayers of ball joints and would rather just put everything on ugly disc hinges that make them look like they've been smoking cigarettes too long and got a device plugged into their throat. He got a lot of range with one ball peg, and that's pretty cute. The shoulders go out to the side. There's some flex in this guy, so you won't break anything. We'll rotate around. Single jointed elbow with rotation. Swivel at the wrist. It's got just a twist at the waist, which is fine. I didn't expect a ball joint out of that, but it would have been nice. Hips will kick out to the side. About that far. Go back down. All the way around. Literally. Single jointed knee. Gets you almost 90, but not quite. And he does have a swivel there. And then he actually has a hinge in the foot with a rocker. A very steep rocker, mind you. Given the scale, I don't know if they could have made that any better. Maybe a ball hinge because of the way his boots are designed. But that is Baron Dark in a nutshell. Very awesome figure. A grail item of mine, actually, because I love me some Skeleton Warriors. It's one of my favorite vintage toy lines ever. It's just one of the coolest looking lines aesthetically. Quality notwithstanding, it's one of the coolest looking lines aesthetically. And it's something I actually have not covered on this channel yet. I thought I did, but I have not. So if you guys want to see reviews of those older figures, let me know, because I will bust them out and get that done. That said, that's going to take a while, because we got lots of newer stuff to look at, and the newer stuff is kind of what fuels the channel, but at least right now anyways. But eventually, you know, those Throwback Thursday type videos and whatnot, I'll probably bring those back. But it's going to take some time, is all I'm saying. But standing Baron Dark up here, he doesn't hold this sword very well. Kind of got to have him hold it like that. Get him to hold it, you know, in a neutral position, I guess. But it's better than nothing, I suppose. Man, I wish they made more characters. I wanted an Oracula, man. He's my favorite, but whatever. So before we wrap this thing up, is with a Mythic Legion skeleton, funny enough. I think he came out before George Gaspar started working for him. I don't remember exactly. I know the new skeleton builder is a hot commodity. I'm glad I got 2 of them. I'd like 2 more, but figures can't be choosers, I guess. Then we have the infamous Elephant Spawn. Go along. The Mythic Legion's brother Benevolith, because I don't think I said his name. And of course, Spawn towers over everyone, because Baron Dark is obviously a 3 3/4 inch scale figure, though he is like, I think 5 inches tall to the top of his head, because in the series he was a pretty large character, which you want your bad guy to be pretty large and in charge, right? So with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and in case you haven't been paying attention throughout the duration of this review, of course I like this figure. In fact, I like it quite a bit. Really the only Debbie Downer with good old Baron Dark here, other than the scale, I suppose, because let's face it, 1/12 is the predominant scale in the action figure collecting world nowadays. But really, the only Debbie Downer with this release is it's the only character from Skeleton Warriors we ever got from the fine folks over at October Toys, the Titan skeleton notwithstanding, of course. And that really sucks, because they were going to make everybody, all the original characters, including Talon, which Playmates never made, because God forbid a 90s action figure line actually went and made the female character, right? But they were going to make characters that we never seen before, like the Scorpion skeleton, the Samurai skeleton. I think there was another crazy Viking skeleton, if I'm not mistaken. There was 3 prototype skeleton characters that didn't have the regular bone color. I think the Scorpion one was green, one of them was blue, and I think the other one was like yellow or orange or something. Either way, they were going to make all of that, and none of that happened. Which is unfortunate, because if you look at Kickstarters nowadays, it seems like everything but Street Humans fully funds in like a few days. So yeah, I think it's a little bit too much, a little bit too early, maybe a little too little. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.